Guys, I'm waiting on these guys to clarify. I'm looking at a live feed right now. If you have not heard, there may be an active shooter situation, active shooter as they call it, at the University of North Carolina. I know they have other branches of their campus. I assume this is the one in, what is it, Chapel Hill, where UNC is. So at this point, I don't know much of anything. This is, I'm going to pull another feed up over here so I can read some stuff while you guys are looking at the live feed. See if I can't get some information out of this. And apparently this one is an Asian supremacist. Of course, that could be white adjacent, so still might be their definition of a white supremacist. It doesn't matter to them. We've seen their efforts to lie about these types of
Guys,
shootings.
if you want to come back to me, like I said, I just spoke to a professor.
Yeah, let's listen to this. There's a reporter here on.
All right, if you want a little update, there's not much, but I can give one. I can fill.
Back now with someone else.
Yeah, and we apologize for that language. Obviously, this is a really heated situation, and we'd all feel the same if we were in a building and didn't know how our significant other was doing and not getting constant updates. But I was standing with Jose Amsler here. Hopefully, I got your name correctly, and started having a conversation with him and wanted to share it with you guys. You just told me you moved here a week ago from Europe. Continue the story from there and your experience just watching this. I know you didn't hear the gunfire, but just tell me a little bit about yourself.
I mean, yeah, I moved here a week ago, and obviously you hear about stuff like that on the news, and I was not expecting it to actually happen that quickly. I told my family nothing is going to happen, it's safe. I'm kind of doubting that right now. I also talked to some of my American fellow students and asked them, are you used to stuff like that happening? And they were like, no.
Where are you from?
I'm from Germany, Berlin. And obviously, in my opinion, that is due to differences in gun policies. I just have to say that.
Yeah.
Well, of
Tell me
course.
what you came here to study.
You're
I
indoctrinated.
study poli-sci, political science. I'm a grad student. So I do deal with issues like that in the classroom. Seeing it like play out like that in real life
Yeah, that's fine. I just
kind of gives you a different perspective. Kind of makes it more important to talk about gun laws, I think. I don't think this would have happened. Yeah.
And you see, look at this gentleman, a couple of state troopers walking around, guns drawn. You know, as you said, this is not something you're used to seeing in Berlin.
No, it's definitely not. I mean,
He never
we
runs
obviously
across
have
this
a lot
kind of stuff
history
at the
with
gay
stuff like
bar.
that happening. There used to be a lot of military in the city like 30 years ago, but I think we've come a long way, and I think it's good that way. I think you shouldn't be used to seeing guns in public. That should not be happening.
Go back to Germany.
That should not be happening.
Tell me a little bit of, have you texted with anybody that's in these buildings here, or anybody that's been in these buildings or anywhere close to what was going on today?
I don't know anyone personally.
He doesn't
we were
know
all
his
just sitting in
history
our
either.
classroom. Obviously, everyone's trying to find out if they know anyone that has been affected. I think everyone's just very scared and upset right now. Yeah, but I don't know anyone personally in there.
And you think about it, not just you as a grad student, but the kids who have started undergraduate here a week ago, their first experience, and then they're being walked out of the building, maybe not with their hands up as we're used to seeing, but walked carefully out of the building. As you said, emotionally, that's got to take a toll on you and these other students.
I mean, some of these students are, 18 years old? I think... I don't know if I can go back to class tomorrow or even next week. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to just
He's got
walk around on the
PTSD.
street here if I know stuff like that can actually happen. I don't know if it's how it's for an 18-year-old. Probably worse, probably traumatizing. And again, I think that shouldn't happen, and it doesn't have to happen.
And tell me about the campus here. You know, you come to Chapel Hill a week ago. It's vibrant. There are people walking around. I described it as kind of eerie right now. When you drive in, you're used to seeing so many people walking on the street, and it was like you could hear a pin drop when you're driving into campus.
Yeah, I've never seen campus this quiet. yeah, it's scary. Obviously, it's weird. I think everybody's kind of in shock as well. I don't know what to feel right now, and I don't know if I can see campus the way I did before again.
Jose, thank
He
you for your
sounds
time.
like he's
I appreciate
super
your
sensitive.
perspective and the information. Again, we do know that the
Cute
federal
little,
authorities
look at
are
his
here,
little
the
man
FBI is
boobs.
here. We're going to continue to press those law enforcement sources to try and drill down some better information. Stephen Amber, I know that has been a lot of the complaints from, again, just social media. From students here, people tweeting out videos of those law enforcement officers from a variety of different agencies walking around with guns drawn, and that's about all we know, right? We don't know too much. We do have that picture circulating now, but we'll continue to press for some better information as the afternoon goes along and continue to talking to folks like Jose to give us some perspective as to what it's like this afternoon on campus. Back to you guys.
Yeah, very interesting conversation with Jose, just arriving, a grad student at UNC, a grad student from Berlin. Josh, so to help us understand, you've covered obviously a lot of situations, police, law enforcement operations, that sort of thing. It struck me that those two, what you described as potentially state troopers walking by, they were heavily armed and armored. They had their body armor on, but they didn't look like they were proceeding with in a deliberate way and in a certain direction. So it would seem to suggest that things are calming in some respect, at least in that part of campus.
I think that's a fair characterization of it. I mean, we also saw some what appeared to be ununiformed officers in tactical vests, which honestly, if you covered any of these incidents, just they don't have to rise to this sort of level, but you do see them sometimes walking around like this with guns, with long guns drawn, and these folks were not running into any particular situations. The troopers were walking away from me, and the other folks who were in tactical gear were just walking down Macaulay Street casually. They weren't running after everyone. So if they're letting folks out of classes, it means they're clearing these buildings. You do hear sounds like this every once in a while, and I don't know that they're necessarily running after anyone. They're just maybe clearing the scene and going somewhere else if they get a ping from this suspect's vehicle.
And just to remind everyone what's happening there on the UNC Chapel Hill campus. The university police say that the lockdown continues. What they were describing in their last correspondence, that it is an active assailant situation. That is their description of what's happening, reminding everyone, if you're on campus, stay secured. If you're off campus, stay away from campus. Again, that person we're showing on the left side of your screen, that is the person described as a person of interest in this case. UNC police saying if you see him, stay away, keep your distance, and call 911 right away. But it's very important that everyone in that community, and frankly across the triangle, be on the lookout for that person and call 911 right away if you see him.
And we should add that along with UNC Chapel Hill on lockdown, the school systems in the surrounding area are on lockdown, and Chapel Hill is asking people to stay away. In fact, Duke just sent out some info that they have stopped bus service to Chapel Hill in an effort to just keep people away from that scene there. So they just sent that out via their news site at Duke. And that is what they are asking the public to do right now, which is also leading to the surrounding school districts being continually on lockdown. So I know that there are just thousands of families that are trying to get their kids home from their first day of school in the Chapel Hill Carborough school system. And we have been notified that those school districts, until they get the all clear from authorities, they have been directed not to release students to their families at this time. The buses are in place, but the staff is also staying safely indoors along with the students.
The
so
guy is still in the
Chapel
loose, by the
Hill,
way.
Carborough City Schools is letting everyone know that until they get the all clear from local authorities, that they are just going to do the same and just continue sheltering in place.
We're also getting some help, some notification from UNC Health, some news from UNC Health. They're saying UNC hospitals in Chapel Hill, they are on lockdown as well as a precaution. Their outpatient clinics on the UNC campus are closed for the rest of the day. So if you know anybody who has a medical appointment at one of the clinics at UNC Health in Chapel Hill on campus at the in the heart of the UNC campus around UNC hospitals, those appointments are canceled. And
just to be clear right now, guys,
coming and going because
hope I lowered that volume enough where you can hear me. Just for a little bit of clarity real quick,
as well,
they
And you can
the
see on your
report is that
screen,
there's shots fired. Okay. The problem is this guy's on the loose, and it says, let's see, University of Chapel Hill, at Chapel, University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill sent out an alert Monday warning of armed dangerous person on or near campus, urging people to go inside and avoid windows. Okay, so they're saying shots fired. I don't see anything that shots were fired. I think there was a person spotted with a firearm. First alert was sent out at 1 p.m. At 1:50, officials posted on Twitter that the shelter-in-place order remained in effect and that it was an ongoing situation. 40 minutes later, they said remain sheltered.
At 1 o'clock, it was an active shooter.
There's video footage showing heavy police force, but the person you see on your screen is a person of interest who they think is the, if you want to call it shooter, they think he is the person carrying the gun. I don't see his name anywhere. It's odd that they have his picture. That's probably his school picture without his name. I'm sure his name is out there. It's just none of the outlets that I'm looking at right now are showing the name. So, yeah, this guy's on the loose. It sounds like they're pinging his phone, and they cannot find the guy right now. So a little bit odd.
Okay, you're not coming to me?
So let me get the volume back up so you guys can hear this live feed.
Police riding by, the alarm started going off, and we sprinted across the street and came inside, and the traffic guard helped us lock the door and barricade the doors. We've been sitting in the bathroom stall for almost 2 hours now.
Were you able to lock the bathroom door there, Haley?
Yeah, the bathroom door is locked and barricaded. We're all in the big stall with the door closed, lights off, everything.
And Bailey, obviously, a really very anxiety-ridden situation, a worrisome situation there. Are you getting anything? You said you're there with some sort of an official who's in the restroom with you right now?
Yes, one of our traffic guards.
Traffic guards. And is the traffic guard getting anything concrete in terms of information from UNC police directly from the police that students may not be getting that can be helpful in understanding what's happening?
No, sir. We're currently in the dark. We have no idea what's going on.
She's hiding.
And it's just, for it to be most of our first weeks here, it's just very traumatizing and a lot to go through right now, especially with me coming from a small town. It's just a lot, and it's a lot for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Bailey, where is home for you? What town are you from?
I'm from Williamston, North Carolina, near Greenville.
Mm-hmm.
Bailey, we can hear it in your voice, the fear, the lowering of your voice. Is that kind of how all of you are just in there? Are you trying to be quiet? Are you able to get on
they're hiding.
Social media?
Jeez.
Are you having sporadic service? Are you limited in your communication as to what's happening? There's probably no windows if you're in a bathroom.
There's no windows. We're completely in the dark. Everyone's in here whispering on their phones, trying to get as many updates as possible. But it's very traumatizing and scary. When it first happened, I know me, as well as a couple of the other girls, are very upset just with everything that's going on. We're just trying to stay as calm as possible.
Yeah, we understand that entirely. And unfortunately, you're getting the Alert Carolinas. We're getting the information directly from UNC police as well. And unfortunately, there's not a lot to share right now with you, Bailey, or with our viewers in terms of a resolution, an endpoint to this right now. They're saying the lockdown continues. The search for the assailant continues. They've shared this photograph. But Bailey, the one thing that we can add, you obviously can't watch our coverage because you're there in that restroom at the student union, but we are seeing in our live feed from our crews across campus that at least on South Campus right now, we are seeing some students walking around. It appears that they are now clearing buildings where this incident unfolded with this assailant, person described as an assailant. It looks like they're clearing those buildings right now. So Bailey, I hope that comes as some comfort to you that some parts of campus, we're seeing students walking around with their backpacks and they appear to be able to go on their way back to their dorms. So obviously we don't have any indication that the lockdown's lifted there at the student union. We're just seeing a couple of students embracing right there. Would appear to be students, two people, two young women embracing there as they're walking across the street. But Bailey, I hope that is helpful to you in understanding that at least in some parts of campus, they are clearing buildings right now.
Yes, there is. I just hope we're next, and I hope everything is cleared up pretty soon because it's just a lot for all of us right now.
Yeah, we understand that. And I can't imagine how traumatizing this must be. We heard the same thing from a foreign exchange student from Germany who was saying, how can I come back to campus tomorrow after going through something like this today, especially coming from Europe, where he said they just don't have a lot of issues with gun violence. So this is certainly something that I know that the school is going to have to address, and that it's going to be something that really sets the tone now for the whole year for so many people at UNC Chapel Hill. So we hope that you will get the all clear to be able to leave safely from that bathroom where you said there's 6 total in there.
1, 2, 3, 4. There's 8 of us.
8 of you sheltering in a bathroom, headed to softball practice, as you were saying, and day 6 of classes here for your freshman year. Just not how you wanted to start your year at all. And this is not a drill for so many people. A very scary situation unfolding. So, you know, we're watching it with you. A lot of thoughts with all of you all at UNC Chapel Hill. And I know your families are concerned, and this is going to be really just something that is going to have to be with you for some time. So please stay in touch with us here, and let us know if there's anything more that you would like to share with us. And going forward, you know, if there's anything you would like us to help get out to the public. We appreciate you talking to us.
Yeah, we're thinking about you, Bailey, and we hope that things resolve themselves very quickly.
Thank
Bailey
you,
Hughes,
Alex.
in the student union, in a women's restroom right now, a total of 8 students there with her inside that building. She is a first-year student, obviously a very challenging beginning to her UNC career. We want to check in with Sean Coffey now, our reporter on the scene. He's actually here where we've been watching that live feed. And Sean, this is an encouraging sign, as we were just describing and talking through with Bailey, that it appears that some buildings are being cleared and people are being allowed to move on past that part of South Campus where you are.
Yeah, that's right, Steve. About 5 minutes ago, we saw a group of, I'd say, 15 to 20 students that came out across South Road here with their hands up or on their head. Actually, I think maybe if Skeeta can zoom in above these lights, you're about to see another group doing the same thing here and crossing South Road, which I agree is an encouraging sign at this point. You see now they're walking in single file past that line of lights. That's near the entrance to the north side here. We're kind of on the north side of Keenan Stadium as a point of reference here. This part of South Road kind of runs alongside the sort of the northern edge of that stadium. Previously, we saw the students walk, make a right turn as they're doing right now and walk in that direction, which is towards the stadium there. But obviously, they are in the process of clearing buildings. We just spoke to someone who was in Wilson Library, which is down South Road in the same direction here. As now we have what appears to be some sort of SWAT vehicle that's arriving on scene as well. The person that was in the library said that they were in the process of clearing the library too. They're going building by building. This is a good point of clarification because obviously campus does remain on lockdown. Their students are still being told to shelter in place. So obviously you're not advised
Nobody
to go
has
outside
been
unless
shot.
you're directed to do
One
so
guy was
by
spotted
law
with the
enforcement.
firearm
But slowly
on
but
campus.
surely it does appear that UNC police are in the process of doing that. I also wanted to speak about a conversation I had a little while ago with a professor, a science professor who was in Caudill Labs down South Road here. That's actually the same laboratory, if you recall, that I spoke with the grad student from earlier. That student was interrogated as he was leaving a bathroom right after that alert went out over his phone. He said he was just coming out of the bathroom. There were already law enforcement officers in there just a few minutes later, asked for his ID, asked him, searched his belongings, made sure he wasn't armed. And this professor who was in that same lab described a very similar scene. He said that police had cleared the building, which is why he was allowed to leave, but he was interrogated as he was leaving. Again, he said he wasn't sure that that's where this incident started, but that general part of campus appears to be the epicenter. He said that there's still a heavy police activity in that part of campus down South Road here, in the area of Bell Tower Drive as well, and by Stone Center Drive too. That's right on the other side of Moorhead, Patterson, Bell Tower. But from our vantage point here, and again, we haven't been able to get more than a few hundred yards from this line of police vehicles. The law enforcement presence is only increasing, but obviously there's a very strong perimeter here. But from our vantage point here, it does appear that more and more students are kind of walking away from this area of campus, which is obviously a good thing at this point. Is only increasing.
And,
But,
and we've
but obviously there's a
and
very
Sean, we
strong
should add a
here
point of
from all
caution
this
for everyone on the UNC
that
Chapel
more
Hill
and more
campus. The
students
UNC police still
are,
continue to say
are
that
kind
there
of
is an armed and dangerous person who remains on the loose right now.
But no shooting.
And there is a person of interest. This person you're seeing on the screen right now. So while there are some buildings where people are being allowed to leave right now, across the campus right now, this lockdown continues. And again, the update from police is this armed and dangerous person is still out there and has not been caught. So there's still obviously some concern about that. I'm just getting another update here from Alert Carolina that they are staying now. This just came out 2 minutes ago from UNC Police. Stay sheltered in place until the all clear is given. All classes and events canceled for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Sean, I guess what's important for everyone to understand is we don't have concrete details yet from the authorities. We are hearing from various people on campus about what they saw and heard earlier today, and we're being very cautious and prudent in what we're reporting here until we have those facts verified by UNC police and the UNC administration. There was obviously some sort of a shooting event, the possibility of injuries that has not been confirmed.
That makes no sense.
But anything else you can elaborate on in
Possibility of a
terms
shooting event,
conversations you're having with those
possibility of
people
injuries.
who are coming out of those buildings?
How stupid.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. Frankly, we just don't know exactly what happened at this hour. Authorities still haven't confirmed very much, but based on my conversations, and I will add, you make a good point about the status here on campus, because you're not advised to go outside right now unless you're directed to do so by law enforcement. Campus police have been very clear, and all law enforcement here, that this is very much an active investigation here and scene, and that students should shelter in place and be safe more than anything else. But I want to say I had spoken with that professor who came out of the laboratory earlier, and we've been asking people walking by if they'd recognize the photo of this person of interest. We've yet to speak to anyone who has recognized the person in that photo. Obviously, this is a massive university, so it's going to take a little bit of effort to find this guy who's out there. But basically, at this point, we're seeing what you're seeing, which is that you have a number of students that are kind of walking down South Road from this area of campus, and again, and I know my colleagues have reinforced this point as well. This is really the heart of UNC. I mean, we're not that far from the pit. We're not that far from both Wilson and the undergraduate libraries, like I said, Keenan Stadium, and I mean, this is really sort of the beating heart of UNC's campus, and an area where people are typically congregating and are out and about. So for this to happen so close to this part of campus, I mean, it sort of just adds a level of seriousness to the situation, to what's already obviously an incredibly serious situation. So you're sort of seeing these people trickle out from this part of campus, but in all honesty, like you said, we've been incredibly cautious because there is a lot of chatter on social media, and we just don't know at this time exactly what's transpired here. So, we're trying to obviously err on the side of caution and be as responsible as we can with the facts that we have at this moment. But as we learn anything more, obviously we'll be sure to update you. Immediately.
All right, Sean Coffey, there on campus, where the encouraging update that you've been watching live with us here on Eyewitness News is that some buildings are being cleared there in that part of South Campus. You see people walking by there in the foreground of your screen, and we've seen people walking out of buildings as well. I
think this is a big time possibility. Likely some kind of airsoft. Again, I'm just saying it's a possibility. I'm not saying that's what's happened. Nobody's been shot.
Working to clear these buildings and let people go from those buildings and go home and go about their day right now, after what's been a terrifying past nearly 2.5 hours on the UNC campus when we first got reports of this Alert Carolina that there was a shooter on campus and everyone needed to shelter in place. That shelter in place does continue for everyone else on campus. People who are watching our streaming coverage, or if you're watching our coverage right now and you're concerned about someone who's on campus, as soon as campus police and other law enforcement are able to clear those specific buildings, people like this you're seeing here will be allowed to go and will be allowed to continue with their day. But right now, the campus lockdown continues. Again, the word from UNC police is that this armed and dangerous person is still out there right now.
We do
Armed
still
and
have the
dangerous, but
schools
we
in the
don't know who
surrounding
he is or
area
what he's
of
carrying.
Carborough, Chapel Hill on lockdown, as well as the search continues on the campus of UNC Chapel Hill. We do know that the school system is giving us information about how they're just also waiting. It's going to be a very late evening for a lot of families. Elena Athens is joining us live from a nearby elementary school at Glenwood Elementary School. This is about a mile away from campus, Elena. It looks like parents are lined up there, just also waiting for the all clear to take their kids.
Yeah, this school is less than a mile away from UNC Chapel Hill. It's right down 54. And I was just chatting with a parent who says she's been here almost 2 hours sitting in her car. You can look at this line of vehicles. They actually stretch all the way to Highway 54, then kind of curve around this bend, and then stretch to the top of the building, where right now there is a school administrator who is going door to door and trying to update parents as to what the situation is. You see a live look right now of that administrator, chatting and trying to reassure parents. But the mom I just spoke to says this is her kindergartner's first day of school. You can imagine the stress and fear that mother is experiencing. You're just getting to the point where you're sending your child off to school, first day, and then this is what happens. Her and her husband are in the vehicle waiting for their child to come out, as are many other parents here waiting for their kids when that all clear is given and they can finally reunite. But just a terrifying day for parents who already are feeling a number of emotions to send off their children to school for the very first time. Then this is what happens. So the district is saying, as a safety precaution, have been directed not to release students until that all clear has been given at UNC. So many parents waiting here for their reunion with their children. We just got here a few minutes ago, so we're going to continue to kind of make our way around. But certainly frightening, scary, all of the things for what turned out to be a very scary first day back to school for some of these kids. Amber and Steve.
Yeah, obviously, what a challenging. Terrifying day. Imagine sending your kindergartner off, and surrounding schools around UNC Chapel Hill, like the Chapel Hill Carborough system, they're locked down today. Elena, thank you. So here is what we know right now, that because of this armed and dangerous person, that's the description from UNC police. They are reminding everyone to shelter in place, avoid windows, close doors. And they're just the update that just came in on the Alert Carolina system just a couple of minutes ago is to remain sheltered in place, and that all classes and events are canceled on the UNC Chapel Hill campus for the rest of the day. I want to show you some video that we just had come in from Carson Rain. And take a look at this. We can show you this for the first time here on Eyewitness News. This is the process right now they are going through in various buildings on campus where they are working to clear them. These are law enforcement authorities there, obviously wearing their armored gear and heavily armed, and they are proceeding foot by foot down this hallway in a very deliberate way to clear that building. And I don't know exactly which building this is.
This is the Moorhead Labs.
Moorhead
okay. Labs. And we have another video that was sent to us, which we're not going to turn around for you because it was so short, but it was in the Genome Science building. So it appears their focus has been concentrated in the science sector, if you will, of UNC Chapel Hill. So this is Moorhead Labs, just going door to door. This is shot by, I believe, a student, Carson Rain, who we're crediting there in the corner. But this is what a lot of the students are witnessing today. So when you talk about sending your kindergartner off, when you talk about sending your freshman on campus at a college, this has been a traumatizing day for so many people, whether they're going to kindergarten or whether they're starting their senior year at UNC Chapel Hill. Anyone in the vicinity of UNC Chapel Hill today and the lockdown that has gone on and continues to go on that campus and UNC Chapel Hill Carborough School District as well. Thousands and thousands of families that are still waiting for word and just anxiously waiting to take their loved ones home and make sure that everybody is safe. That picture on the screen there, that is the picture released by the campus police about the person of interest, this armed and dangerous person situation, an active assailant on campus that started at 1 o'clock today. And we have seen them starting to clear certain rooms and buildings and trying to let some of those students.
All right, guys, I'm going to cut in here for just a second. As you guys know, they're calling it a dangerous situation, active shooter, all this kind of stuff.
One sec, guys, right?
Just a massive, massive sharing of buzzwords.
Guys, if you can hear me,
This is pretty telling to me, actually. You know, I don't think any shots have been fired. I don't think anybody's hurt. I don't think anybody's in danger. Again, this is based on the information. This is not my opinion. This is based on every single thing that's been reported so far. No shots fired. No one hurt. Just a bunch of scared people. You heard the little guy with the man boobs from Germany a while ago that said that this doesn't happen in Germany. Well, I'd like to remind him that it did happen in the 30s in Germany, but he was too young, I guess, to know anything about World War II, because apparently they don't teach the right version of it in Germany, and who knows, they probably don't even teach history anymore. But nevertheless, there's no actual threat. There was an Asian guy that you see right up here above me who that's allegedly who was walking around with, quote, an AR-15 or a, quote, assault rifle. No proof, no pictures, no video. Nobody can describe him other than what we just said. They're going through this UNC school. I think UNC has up to 20,000 students there. It's a massive college. So they're going through all this, trying to clear this entire college, putting the fear of God in everybody in there because they're treating this like it is an active shooter situation. Now, again, if something else has happened and we don't know about it, this isn't my fault. I think they're overreacting because they're based on the information they've given out. They've not given out enough information for me to think that all this is necessary. That's just, I mean, if you look at what they've reported, there's no threats. There's no, quote, manifesto that they found. Nobody's been shot. Nobody's been beaten. Nobody's been talked to. Nobody's been yelled at. Nobody's had an ugly look sent their way. They just have somebody who's spotted in Asian that you see right here on campus, supposedly with an AR-15. This seems like a really good test as to how much can we panic the general public over nothing. And again, I have to repeat, I'm calling it over nothing because nobody's hurt according to the news that's been released and according to anything else. So there's no reason to have this kind of reaction. If this guy expected to or wanted to kill people, don't you think he would have shot somebody? Look at all the people here. Look at the people and all the cars in the background. Yeah, people are being ordered to stay inside. Well, that's fish in a barrel for somebody who's wanting to shoot people. And if he really wants to kill somebody, how come he's not outside killing a bunch of these people that we see on camera? I'm certainly not suggesting you do that. I'm just saying you'll find a way if you're hell-bent on killing somebody and ending the lives of people, innocent people. So right now, this seems like a big nothing burger to me. This seems like a massive, massive overreaction right now. And unfortunately, the weight of all of this is going to come down on this guy. Somebody on the stream mentioned earlier the possibility of this being a possible airsoft gun that this guy may have had. I think that's a very strong possibility. New at school, you know, possibly there's people in this community who do airsoft and things like that. Super liberal community. I used to work over in that area between Greensboro and Raleigh and all those areas right there where a lot of the campuses are. This is an area right here that there's very few real guns in that immediate area. Now, I'm not talking about the rural area of North Carolina. Obviously, in those areas, there's plenty of good gun owners over there. But this in the metropolitan area of Raleigh-Durham, Winston-Salem, Greensboro, super liberal areas within the city limits. So, yeah, not a whole lot of pro-Second Amendment people there. I think it's way more likely that it's a airsoft gun. Again, that's total speculation. I like when the people in the comment section will tune in and watch the entire live stream as we try to figure out what happened and get mad whenever we speculate. That always cracks me up. But nevertheless, this is definitely appears to be a massive overreaction. Now, if something has happened, I apologize for saying this appears to be a massive overreaction. I am reacting on all the information that I've gotten. And again, these news people, they're going around in circles and circles and circles right now because they got nothing. There's no information. So I'm going to go back to that live feed, and this is the live feed from, it's an ABC affiliate, 11 out of North Carolina. So let me grab that feed again, and we'll pick up and see if they find anything else out. But at this point, it seems like absolutely nothing.
that's
And
right,
if it
Steve.
continues to
As of
be
this
absolutely
point,
nothing, I won't
that
waste your
seems to be
time. I'll get
correct.
out of here in a little
It
bit.
seems like
But
it's
let's just
frankly
wait
kind
and
of a
see. I just want to make sure
building-by-building
that there's nothing
situation
going
as of right
on.
now.
I would
You know,
really like to see
these
them at
gentlemen that I
least
just spoke to, for example,
at least capture
were
the guy, you know,
instructed
whoever
that they
was
were able to
walking
leave by law
around with
enforcement. It sounds like they
whatever
were able
he
to
was
kind of
walking around with
go
that
about their
created
day
this
now.
massive panic
Obviously,
with
classes
20 to
canceled, but
30,000 students in
that
this
does seem to
area,
be correct.
and obviously local schools being locked down as well. So let me bring the audio back on this live stream.
So it appears that what they're doing, which we often see in a shooter situation like this, law enforcement will go into a building. We see this happen across the country. They'll go in, they'll work to clear a building, make sure there's no ongoing threat in that building with someone who may have been tied to the situation, and they need to potentially take into custody. So that's what they're working on, this very deliberate process of clearing buildings. But I guess the reassuring part for people more broadly on the UNC campus is that people are allowed to move freely now that those buildings have been cleared.
Yes, and I know I'm actually texting with a student that's still locked down in a basement, and he's asking what's going on because he can't see anything. So he's waiting for them to clear them as well, and just said this is going to take a long time because this is a very large campus, and they appear to be going building to building. We had some video that we saw earlier sent in from Carson Rain in the Moorhead Labs, where they were actively going down, and you could see there's the video here. This is what we received from the Moorhead Labs. This is how those officers are just going from room to room, and you can see just very methodically working to make sure that every inch is clear in every classroom. And this is, of course, what the students are talking about, what they're witnessing, and some of them telling us that this has just been an absolutely traumatizing day for so many students on campus that are having to sit through this shelter in place. That's what another student that we spoke with earlier, I believe was that Brooks, I believe. We spoke to one student earlier. This is what they did to their door. They barricaded their door with all the furniture. Bailey and her roommates, when they received that lockdown, it was barricading there.
And yeah, we spoke with her on the phone, and you see they put a dresser there in front of one door, and then the desk in front of that. We are still waiting for the latest from Chapel Hill Carborough, from the school system there. And this is more video we had earlier. This is from inside a lecture hall. And you can see these students down on the floor, showing us the door is locked and secure. This is what has been happening on campus since about 1 p.m. The alert went out at 1:03 p.m. that there was an active shooter on campus. The sirens sounded, the emergency warning sirens sounded. An announcement went over the loudspeaker saying there was an armed and dangerous person on campus and everyone needed to lock down. And that's what we've been seeing from inside various buildings on campus, students taking precautions to stay safe and stay secure inside these various buildings, inside the dorms, inside the classroom buildings. And again, what we're seeing now is that some buildings near South Campus have been cleared, and the people inside those buildings have been allowed to go on and move about the campus, as you're seeing here as we zoom into those people walking down the sidewalk. We
want to reiterate the photo that you're seeing on your screen here. That was released by the UNC Police Department. This shows a person of interest in today's armed and dangerous person situation. That's the words of UNC Police. Police are asking if you see this person to keep your distance, put your safety first, and to call 911. So it appears that that is a person that they are actively searching for. We are also monitoring social media, and we should reassure you that before we release any information publicly,
everyone
we do
really looks scared.
Make sure that we sometimes double and triple check with authorities to make sure that we have the information correct before we release it to the public. So just like you, we are seeing a lot of the things on social media that are circulating, but right now, the word right now, from UNC Chapel Hill is this continues to be an active search, stay sheltered in place until the all clear is given. All classes and events are canceled for the rest of the day. And when you see these students, these are students that have been cleared. They are going building to building and making sure that the building is secure before they're releasing people. And they're probably breaking it down into different quadrants of campus where certain areas have already been searched. So we are staying very close with the Chapel Hill Police Department. We're staying very close with the UNC Chapel Hill Carrboro City Schools, as they are also waiting for the all clear on this situation. Our Elena Athens is reporting there at an elementary school just about a mile away from campus, where the carpool line is there. The families are waiting, very, very anxious to take their families home. She spoke to one parent, and this is their child's first day of kindergarten.
And I hope everyone who is watching this can appreciate the level of anxiety on campus is certainly lifting in terms of the urgency of this situation. And we're waiting to understand exactly why law enforcement is in this way right now in terms of letting people go and letting them walk freely on campus. That is obviously a very encouraging sign for anyone still who remains under this lockdown in a building that has not yet been cleared, because the
local bars will be packed in about an hour.
It's going to be a long process on a campus as large as the UNC Chapel Hill campus to clear each of the buildings, and that is the law enforcement process. We haven't received clarity on exactly how they intend to proceed in clearing all of the buildings, but you can imagine that is a large campus with tens of thousands of people potentially on any given day, especially when you factor in UNC hospitals and the medical center campus as well. That's obviously part of the UNC campus there. So we're waiting for some more details about how law enforcement plans to clear every square foot of campus, which they're doing very deliberately right now, especially there on South Campus, where this shooting appears to have taken place right around 1 o'clock this afternoon.
We immediately dispatched all of our reporters to the scene, and that includes Akila Davis, who is live there. Akila, last time we checked, you were at where were you near Macaulay Street, near campus. Is that where you remain now?
I am, Amber. You know, there is really a heightened sense of panic here on campus, and understandably so. There are tons of students being escorted out of those buildings as this lockdown remains in place. State Highway Patrol helicopters are flying overhead, and I saw a group of officers carrying rifles rushing over to the scene. So we're all watching. Again, more students just being escorted out of buildings here on campus. And we're talking about a college campus that typically is busy and bustling with students heading to trouble because a lot of the streets are blocked off. So again, this is just unimaginable. You know, again, live look here at the scene, more than 20 law enforcement cars here. Again, I'm on South Road, and this is Columbia Street. That lockdown continues here on campus. Tons of law enforcement agencies, the town of Chapel Hill. We've got campus police, we've got state troopers, and I saw a North Carolina Emergency Management task force vehicle rushing over. So yeah, just again, a lot of panic on campus here. Back to you all.
And Akila, have you been able to talk to anybody who's been released from those buildings to help us understand how that process is unfolding of clearing buildings?
Yep. I did, not necessarily down to how the process, but again, I was referencing
I'd like to point out real quick that it's very possible what they might have seen. If you think about it, this is school and a very large school. It could have been somebody with a guitar case, looked like a gun case with a rifle in it. Still, just to be clear, no shooting, no threats, no bomb threat, no shooting threat, no loud words, no hurtful words, no hurt feelings other than all of these kids right here. Cute little boy right there with his mask. He's probably really good with the chicks. I mean, it's a perfect area for him to pick up girls. Very liberal area, and boys. Very liberal area. So anyway, Nothing to report because nothing has happened other than mild panic and now no panic. It's people going to the pub now to have some beers for the rest of the day because daddy media has scared everybody.
You're seeing here on your screen right now as we cover this breaking news in real time on the UNC Chapel Hill campus as people are allowed to move about campus. Obviously, if they're UNC police say that their most recent communication they've had, what they put out on Alert Carolina is that there is still an ongoing concern. But obviously, this tells a slightly different story. People are being allowed to walk around on campus. It appears there are no restrictions on where they can go on campus. So that would seem to suggest that police believe that there is no obviously ongoing threat to those people. Otherwise, they wouldn't be allowed to walk around like this. So that is the encouraging sign. But again, it can be kind of a nerve-wracking process. We know for so many people who are watching our coverage, parents watching our coverage, people with loved ones on the UNC Chapel Hill campus who are watching and texting with those people who are still under lockdown. We spoke with a young woman named Bailey Hughes who was in the student union, 8 young women there in the bathroom, and they've been there since 1 o'clock. We've talked to so many other students this afternoon in our live breaking news coverage here who have been locked down either in classroom buildings or inside their dorms waiting for word. So if you're watching this and you're concerned about people on campus, or you are on campus watching this, just know that this is a very positive and encouraging sign that buildings are being cleared and people are being allowed to move about the campus right now.
So the time right now is 3:43, and elementary dismissal was at 2:35 for the Chapel Hill Carborough School District around this area, which has also been on lockdown. We want to go to Elena Athens now, who is at Glenwood Elementary, just about a mile away from that scene. And I understand they're just starting to release some of those students to their parents, Elena?
Yes, they are. Let me step out of the shot so you can get a live look, as we are starting to see some children coming out of the school and making their way to the bus. I mean, you can imagine for the parents who have been waiting in this line, that is a more than welcoming sight as they are starting to see children come out of this school. So again, we're giving you a live look right now at Glenwood Elementary. This is right off of 54. We are less than a mile away from UNC's campus. So again, we are starting to see some children come out of that school. If I can, though, I just want to show you what the situation has been like here, because there are parents who have been waiting for more than 2 hours at this point. You can see right now this long line of vehicles that are lined outside of Glenwood Elementary School. We spoke to a parent not so long ago, and I believe we do have a bit of our conversation if we could roll that. But, you know, she said it's her child's first day of school, just entering kindergarten, and then this happened today. But unfortunately, at this point, we don't have that soundbite to share with you. But she said, you know, her heart has been in her stomach all day. This is an incredibly nerve-wracking situation. Imagine first child, send him out first day of elementary school in kindergarten, and this is what happens. You have this lockdown at the school where no one is allowed to go in, come out, get your child. So she's certainly anxious to get her child back, but also at the same time thankful that these safety measures were put in place and that her child is in fact safe. We're going to go back over here. I'm going to take you back up to the school as we continue to see children coming out and making their way out of Glenwood Elementary School. So again, this is a welcome sight for parents. Hours. They have been waiting hours to pick up their children. You can imagine their anxiety, but now some sites, and we're starting to see some parents making their way up to the top of the school to pick up their children after waiting all this time during this lockdown. So I'm going to send it back to you guys, Amber and Steve.
All right, Elena Athens, where the encouraging update from the Chapel Hill Carborough school system right now is that classes are being dismissed. They were in secure status across the school system in elementary, middle, and high schools on the first day of school because of this ongoing concern and threat at UNC Chapel Hill.
All after-school activities in the district are canceled. Clubs, practices, tryouts, any games, all day. And after school care, they said, will safely take place indoors today. So if you couldn't get there, if you can't rush, or I know that it may have even been hard to get around Chapel Hill with a lot of the police activity, but they are keeping the aftercare going today. It is just going to stay indoors. So that is a good sign and scene there from from Glenwood Elementary School, just about a mile away from UNC Chapel Hill.
And we continue to see more of this. This is the live feed coming in. We have crews across campus right now. This started unfolding just about 1 o'clock in the South Campus area where they have been working to clear buildings. And we're seeing across campus right now this UNC police effort to clear more and more classroom buildings. We don't yet know exactly if any of the residence halls have been cleared, but this is an encouraging sign that people are being allowed to walk around campus, that there's no ongoing concern as buildings are being cleared. Now, UNC police, we should add that they say that you do need to remain in lockdown status as they work to clear buildings. But as your building is cleared, then you will be allowed to go about your business on campus right now, as so many people are. Finally, after about 2 hours and 45 minutes, people are now being allowed to walk around campus.
Actually, yeah, almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
It started unfolding at 1 o'clock today. And, you know, for some of these people, they're locked in bathrooms and in places where, you know, maybe in other rooms where they have no facilities and they couldn't leave. So they're just trying to work to get them into a better, maybe even more comfortable situation. It's been a very rough afternoon for a lot of folks. The Alert Carolina.
All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. This is about one of the biggest nothing burgers that I've ever probably experienced ever. I don't know what the reasoning behind all of this is. This can't be this can't be people just being cautious for the sake of being cautious. If no one reliable, there's no way no one reliable saw this guy, because they would have captured him. So it's probably somebody who maybe had a quiz this morning and wanted to get out of it, that said they saw an Asian. Again, I don't know how they have this guy's face up there. Maybe they ran a bunch of pictures and said, pick an Asian out and find somebody. But nevertheless, nothing has happened. I've heard people originally say active shooter. Heard people call this a shooting at UNC. I've heard was a couple of the headlines that I read. I took screenshots of them all. None of that has happened. According to reports, and you just listen to how long we've been on here, 50 minutes. You just listen to 50 minutes of live coverage from a local affiliate who has at least 2, I think 3 reporters on the ground at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. No shooting. Nobody's hurt. Feelings are hurt, but nobody is physically hurt. No ugly words, no threats. Nothing has happened other than a person seems to have seen somebody who they think was the Asian guy that you continue to see on camera. And supposedly he was carrying a gun. So I feel like I'm wasting your time. I think that this is a really good opportunity for the wackos on the far left to take something that didn't happen, and this is what I think is going to happen. You'll probably see this on the nightly news tonight. They essentially shut down a massive area with 20 to 30,000 people who go to school in this area. Other schools also, elementary school, you heard them say one school this is our first day of school. I think they're going to realize that this was a miss for them, as far as saying that, oh, we thought, they hoped it was an active shooter. They really did. Again, we have some little leftists in here that follow me, and I know they're probably here in the comment section. You guys want this kind of stuff. You can't get people to act on emotion if you don't have dead bodies, and it's always great if you have children. Because remember, the wackos on the far left are counting all of these. That's a child. Based on their numbers of children dying, that is a child. They're counting up to 24-year-old kids in their child numbers of gun deaths. So this was a big deal for them. This was going to be massive, and it looks like it failed. Nope, it didn't fail for them, because this is going to be their way of going, you see what we've done to our children? We've now come to a point where we just see somebody who we assume has a gun. We can make 30,000 people in one small community panic like this. So look at the conditioning y'all have done to our children with all of the mass shootings, which there's very, very few of them and even fewer at schools. But with all the mass shootings, look how scared our children are. Our poor babies are scared now. And look what it did. It locked down an entire area just based on fear. So they're going to use this to make it sound like the threat of an active shooter now creates massive amounts of chaos. So again, a massive nothing burger, it looks like. Now, if something has happened, it's not in the news, and I don't know about it. So don't come back on me if there's a gazillion people who have been mowed down by this guy. That's not being reported. That's simply not being reported. And I feel like nothing is going to happen. I feel like this guy, it's going to come out that this guy was up to nothing. And again, it might have been a guitar case. The guy's at a liberal community, a college campus. So very possible he's smoking a little weed and playing a little guitar. So I'm going to get out of here. If anything comes up that's of any real substance, we'll talk about it. But other than that, this is a nothing story for me. And I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. And again, apologies from me for wasting your time, because I do feel like this was a massive waste of time based on the amount of news that has come out about it. So again, ignore the media, guys. The media, they're lying to you. They're setting you up. They're trying to condition you. Oh, and again, don't forget, they've got a new vaccine and a new COVID warning for this fall that they want to roll out. So what better way to start getting you to start pivoting and looking and being scared so that you can be even more scared
Now
once the new COVID restrictions come around. Watch out for all that stuff. Your media is lying to you. The media is the enemy.